power to the people? Could she disrupt the corrupt system we're living in? Could she even get a Uranus shocking surprise windfall of votes to become the first female president of the United States of America? And more importantly, could she become the first president of the United States to actually do anything for the ordinary working class people of our country and get us out of this corrupt, run political system we're living in now? Thank you so much for joining me for this astrology chart reading of Marianne Williamson running for president in 2024. We never get a president who actually does anything to help education, healthcare, or the housing crisis. And those are the things that I really care about. And as a small business owner who really didn't receive any support during the whole COVID crisis, and like so many small businesses who struggled, meanwhile, the corporations got billions of dollars in aid. And I am married to a teacher who is no longer teaching because we live in an area with a corrupt school system that gives more money to administrators than teachers. The administrators get all the money, and there's tons of administrators. Meanwhile, the teachers are supposed to survive on part-time, temporary, scrappy positions where they're hired part-time, but they're expected to work full-time. That is not a livable wage at all. And so my husband is no longer a teacher, and so many teachers are suffering. And I feel as a mother, those same schools are failing my kid as well. And would I vote for a disruptor like Marianne? I think right now I'm upset enough to consider voting for Marianne Williamson. Absolutely, sure. Wouldn't you? We're on the brink of a working class revolution, which I really do believe we are going to start to see now that Pluto has moved into Aquarius. This is a big shift. And this revolution will not be televised. So if you're getting all your information from the news, there's a lot going on right now behind the scenes that the media is not aware of. And the media, your news channel, is not covering what's really going on. And I've been saying this for a while. If you listen to my regular monthly moon videos, you know I've been saying turn your TV off, because the Pluto, the transformer, moving into Aquarius, the collective, wants us to connect on a different way. And I like YouTube for finding out most of my news, honestly, because the media is just focused on a competition between Biden and Trump to win. And my focus right now is really on whether it will be Marianne Williamson or Nikki Haley, because I believe with Pluto and Aquarius, the future is female. We are moving into a time where the divine feminine power on our planet is rising. And Marianne Williamson really has ERIS on her side. That goddess of discord in Aries would love to see a disruptor win like Marianne Williamson. We know in astrology, ERIS in Aries is coming in so strong in 2024. And let's face it, voter enthusiasm is lagging. I know so many people who have told me they're not even going to vote this year because they're just not excited about casting a ballot for Biden or Trump, so they're just going to sit it out. And I have never missed a vote in my whole life. I've been voting since I was 18. I'm 53 now. I even vote for all the little middle of the year votes where it's just a levy for schools or a levy for a hospital. And there is nothing right now choosing. stopping us from choosing a different path forward, where we have so many people who are saying they're not even going to vote. Your vote matters more than ever in the 2024 election. Your vote can really be powerful. Marianne Williamson has written and taught extensively on the Course in Miracles, and it may just take a miracle to get elected, but I believe in miracles. Do you? Marianne's astrology chart has been one of the most fascinating charts to read, but this has not been an easy task for me. I started reading Marianne Williamson's chart after I posted the astrology video, Will Trump Win?, where I was looking at Trump's astrology for the year, where Jupiter and Saturn are fighting it out, whether Jupiter says he might just take it, but Saturn says there's going to be a lot of obstacles and challenges, and Saturn may just take everything away with all these lawsuits. And going into that Aries, Libra, North Node eclipses, and Libra is justice. So justice may prevail, and Trump may not even be able to qualify for president. And when I did that reading, I asked you guys, who do you want me to read next? And it was an overwhelming response for Marianne Williamson. So that is why I'm reading her today. And I really want to do her chart justice. She just deserves good things. You know, she's worked so hard. And I have that procrastination that comes from perfection. I'm just still looking into aspects, and I feel a little bit like Alice in Wonderland. I'm just lost in her chart, and that just might be her Neptune square Venus, creating this mystical, magical world. And her sun is in Cancer, in close conjunction with Uranus, the planet of shocking, unexpected events, and Venus, the planet of love and money, in her second house of wealth. She really knows how to do what she loves, and the money will follow. And she is an incredible manifester. She has great manifesting skills, and she has this Gemini rising and Mercury in Leo that makes her an excellent communicator. And she's always expressing just exactly what's in her heart in ways that can help and heal others. I've spent more time on this astrology video, I think, than ever before, because she's just so intriguing with that Cancer sun and Capricorn moon, just exactly on that axis of home, fourth house home and Cancer, home and family, and Capricorn is 10th house of work and career and power, leadership. And I always think of pearls when I'm reading somebody who has sun in Cancer, because pearls come from the ocean. They're ruled by that watery emotion, that moon sign. The ocean is ruled by the moon. And Cancer should always wear pearls. And because she is a Cancer sun as her primary Cancer sun ruled by the moon, she can be so emotionally and energetically sensitive. And she's also hardworking as a Capricorn moon ruled by Saturn. She knows how to create foundations for success, and she knows how to be a leader, and she's very comfortable with power. So she's probably had some interesting work-life balancing acts. I just spent last year with the fourth. I'm also born fourth house sun, 10th house. So that fourth, 10th house, it's all about the work-life balance. She's incredibly ambitious and successful with a mothering caregiver's heart. And I know she was a wonderful single mother, working single mother. So she would probably enact laws and support systems for single mothers everywhere who could really use the support in this day and age. And she reminds me of Jimmy Carter because she really works for the people, power to the people. She's got your back, you know, just like the universe has your back. Mary Williamson will have the backs of the people, the hardworking people. She has so much energy to pour into her good deeds in this world. And she can be brutally fierce and kind-hearted in the exact moment, same time, just like any good mother can be. In the 9-star key astrology, she is a 3, fast-growing, blooming tree star, just like me, known as the warrior. And she is willing to fight for this country and to fight for the people. And when she says power to the people, she really means she will fight for that. And she's entering her whirlwind hurricane year of 2024, just like I am. But any seeds of intention she plants for 2024, that those will just grow deep roots. It's like the acorn becoming a mighty tree. So she comes into power. If she were to win this presidential election, this would just be the roots of change, magnificent change on our planet. And I can imagine she could step into power under this 5 center star year, because the center star, it's like being the center of the universe. I imagine that galactic center as it has that magnetic energy. And she will become the center of attention this year as it continues. She might not have gotten enough attention so far, but when we shift, February 10th, we shift into the Lunar New Year, and she shifts into becoming the center of the universe. She will have all eyes on her. And she also has that 9 fire star ruled by the heart and the earth mountain star that gives her that old soul crone wisdom. She has a lot of strength and heart and power here. And I don't discount her like so many are doing in the media, because she is really gaining momentum in the other worlds like TikTok and social media, and anything is possible in our world right now, especially if the young voters, the Gen Z, comes to the polls. I have a Gen Z kid myself, and these younger voters, they don't care about the news. They don't watch the news. So big deal. Who cares who's winning in the news? They're not watching. They're watching YouTube. They're watching TikTok. They're on Instagram. They're not paying attention to what the media is saying. And so they could come out for this 2024 election in droves, while the older discouraged people are not coming out. And so that could make a really profound difference in this election, not to be discounted, these younger voters and their power. And few candidates are reaching the younger audience in a real way like Marianne Williamson is. And she's a natural born leader. And I believe she could bring us to this higher vibrational next level energetically. It's what she's good at. And as we move into this Pluto and Aquarius, and we are all called to serve, to love and heal our world, and to transform it for the better, whether she is elected or not, she is going to be a change maker in this new world. She's already the founder of the Peace Alliance, a grassroots campaign that supports legislation currently before Congress to establish a United States Department of Peace. Can we say amen to that? I mean, imagine that, a Department of Peace. Let's quit focusing on war and actually put our focus on peace, because I believe whatever you focus on, you are going to experience more of. So if we put all of our money and all of our energy into military, we're only promoting more war. Let's have this United States Department of Peace. And she's written so many books that have helped people to heal and transcend to a higher place energetically, like Return to Love and The Law of Divine Compensation. Those are some of my favorites. Have any of her books helped you in any way? If you have a favorite Marianne Williamson book, leave it in the comments. I'd love to know. I'm not sure I've read all of her books, but I'm reading The Soul of America right now, and it is a heartbreaking, inspiring book. You will want to donate to her campaign if you read that. And Marianne Williamson was deeply impacted by that powerful Pluto Sun conjunction at 29 degrees of Capricorn, right before Pluto and the Sun both entered Aquarius at 0 degrees. And this is just a powerful crossing over of mansions in astrology when we left Capricorn, where we've been for so long, and so much of 2020 and all those hardships that we were going through was that Pluto Saturn conjunction in Capricorn that happened in 2020, and we're sort of leaving all that behind finally as we move into Pluto and Aquarius, which is making a huge shift in our world energetically. I did a separate report on Pluto and Aquarius. Check it out. I'll link below. And just before Pluto entered Aquarius, it hit that 29 degrees, that anaretic critical degree of Capricorn. And this was in direct conjunction with Marianne Williamson's moon, which is at 28 degrees of Capricorn. And I'm sure she was feeling it that day, and it was hitting her 8th house of sex, death, and money. And the funny thing is, that is the exact same house that Nikki Haley was having her Sun conjunct, that Pluto Sun conjunction. And I talked all about that in my Nikki Haley report. You can check that out. And what does that mean? They were both experiencing this Plutonian transformation of power, coming into their own personal power, becoming empowered. It's like the stars are aligning, saying one of these women is getting ready to take this powerful position. And I just wish they could run together. How amazing would that be? But Marianne also has a North Node in Aquarius, just like Nikki Haley does as well. And remember last time I said the future is female, Pluto and Aquarius. We need somebody with a strong Aquarius North Node to lead us into the world we're going to. And that is what both Nikki Haley and Marianne Williamson have. North Node in Aquarius. They both have this soul mission to serve the collective through transformation. It's so powerful. And they are aligned to the times. And we are moving into this new era with Pluto and Aquarius that will continue until 2043. So we need somebody with a strong Aquarius North Node who understands where we're headed, because we're really going into the unknown here. And Marianne has Pluto conjunct her moon just as Pluto shifted into Aquarius. And this Pluto conjunct the moon, it can be kind of an oppression of personal power. And she's clearly being suppressed in her efforts. And the moon can affect our emotions. The moon rules our emotions. And so it can lead to discouragement and some emotional disappointments during all this political time that they were having. She was hardly seen or picked up by the news, and I'm sure that was disappointing for her. And the sun conjunct her moon just brings all these emotions of disappointment and oppression to the surface in an overwhelming way. But it could indicate that women will come to her aid. Women will support her. Perhaps women are giving her donations from powerful women's organizations to keep her campaign strong. I think women will be her ally as she moves forward. Women are going to come to her aid with this sun conjunct moon. That's an indicator. And these transits, they happen in one day, but they really have a trajectory where it can affect the next 6 months. So it's like she's still soaking in this powerful Sun Pluto conjunct her moon. It will really have an impact on the next few months ahead. And I think the only thing that could really keep her from doing her best in this campaign right now is herself. Sometimes we can self-sabotage our best efforts. And with this strong Pluto conjunct Moon, she may have some self-doubts that torment her, or anxieties, or fear. It could even be legitimate fears for her safety or security concerns. It's just such a scary time in our world to be powerful. And Capricorn Moon, it's more of an introverted moon sign. Though her Gemini rising makes her a great communicator, but between that Capricorn moon and the Cancer, they are both introverted. They want to go in their shell. And I get the sense that she is an introvert who can extrovert, but maybe she shouldn't. And I am an introvert who can extrovert, but I probably shouldn't either. So I get it. She may be having some exhaustion from just being out there, having to extrovert so much to convince people. And she's more energetically sensitive to meeting so many people than some of the other candidates we have right now. Her deep emotions can be so intense at times. It's hard for her to put on the clown face, you know, the tears of the clown that no one sees. And Marianne must be feeling all the feels because she has fought against so many trials and tribulations during this and her last election. And I'm just wondering, Marianne Williamson, if you need an energy clearing. I do pendulum energy clearings, and I would offer Marianne Williamson a free energy clearing because I know she's got a lot of energy projected at her that she probably needs to clear as an introvert who can extrovert. Whew. Yeah, let's just all send some energy clearing towards Marianne. She has this deep reserve of willpower to stay in this race. She is a force to be reckoned with, and I can see this in her sign. As long as she believes in her superpowers as much as the rest of us do, she will have success. And she is so beloved by so many, even amidst the really small-minded mockery that we're seeing in publications like The New Yorker. The New Yorker, I don't think I'll ever read The New Yorker ever again because I saw these daily humor cartoons making fun of Marianne Williamson, and I'm so turned off. I will never ever subscribe to the New Yorker again. I used to purchase that, but never again, because I believe in our society we make fun of the things that we fear. And nothing is scarier than a woman in power, right? And I'm just heartbroken by even how many women are bashing Marianne. Come on, women bashing women. That's just heartbreaking. And every time I witness it, I think it's just a sign of how powerful she truly is, how threatening she must be. She's really making the mainstream nervous. So what do? They poke fun and they try to belittle her power. What is this, elementary school? It's just so dumb. And even worse, she's being systematically excluded from major media outlets. It's just like ERIS, the goddess of discord, who was excluded from the wedding on Mount Olympus, but she got her revenge by tossing that golden apple into the bridal party of the goddesses that simply said, "To the fairest one of all." Do you know this story about Eris, the goddess? You don't want to exclude people. They can get revenge, man. All of the goddesses began to quarrel over who was the fairest one of them all. It was all the most beautiful goddesses, Athena, Aphrodite, Venus, and Zeus made Paris decide who was the fairest. And Aphrodite offered Paris that she could make Helen of Troy fall in love with Paris if he picked Aphrodite, which he did. And this began the Trojan War. So be careful of who you exclude at your next wedding. Marianne Williamson has that Mars in Scorpio that makes her just as vengeful as Eris, who got her revenge. And Eris, the goddess of discord, is also known as the Great Disruptor. And so Marianne Williamson is a disruptor just like ERIS. And we have so many goddess planets coming in strong this election year. I imagine it as all the goddesses coming in to see who will be chosen to be the president, and it matters. And the goddesses are coming in, and they are going to help influence this presidential election. I think excluding Marianne Williamson is only making her more endearing to her fan base, honestly, who support her with hashtags like disrupt the corrupt. And I think of that powerful saying, they tried to bury us, but they didn't know we were seeds. They tried to bury us, but they didn't know we were seeds. That is so perfect for Marianne Williamson. She is a seed. Marianne represents everyone who has felt buried by our corrupt political system, and especially the middle class is getting buried worst of all. Have you ever felt excluded or left out, or like things weren't coming to you, like, I don't know, student loan forgiveness that was promised but wasn't delivered? I think of all the small businesses that went out of business, be it when the CARES Act just failed small businesses, only to give money to giant corporations who didn't need it. Meanwhile, families were struggling to survive, and there's homeless sleeping on our streets everywhere in Oregon, and they're all left out, just like ERIS, left out in the cold and buried like seeds. Marianne has this beautiful Jupiter in Taurus, which is, Jupiter is transiting Taurus now, and Jupiter will conjunct her Taurus. And just right now, she has Jupiter in Taurus opposite her Mars in Scorpio. You can't bury that ambition. That is ambition expanded. Mars in Scorpio, ambition, fierce ambition. Jupiter in Taurus, expansion of resources. I will cover this transiting Jupiter in Taurus conjunct her natal. That is a winning transit. And her Mars in Scorpio means she will persist until she wins. Mars in Scorpio pursues their goals with such intensity and power of determination. It's a spiritual fervor that she has to achieve the impossible. And if anyone could rise to the top as a president, first female president, against all odds, it would be someone with a Mars in Scorpio. She is fearless and unstoppable. And even as the negativity towards her endures, the negativity only proves how corrupt our system is, that power is not equally available to everyone. No one, I guess, can just rise to the power of becoming a president because it's a truly unfair playground. And Marianne Williamson is really shedding light on just how unfair our corrupt system is. And this reminds me of Black Moon Lilith, who was vilified for the simple reason that she didn't want to procreate with Adam. And talk about the first Me Too movement. She was criticized, demonized, so much negativity. So I just had to take a little peek at Black Moon Lilith at 11 degrees of Leo in Marianne Williamson's third house, which I found out is conjunct her Mercury. She speaks as if she was channeling the divine Black Moon Lilith, who also knows what it's like to be left out in the cold, to be demonized. And if you want to know more about Black Moon Lilith, I did a separate video about it. She is a really interesting goddess planet that is coming in so strong. This 2024 election year, we have Black Moon Lilith exalted in Virgo, coming in strong. All the goddess planets are coming in so strong. We also have Venus. Let's talk about Venus rising as morning star in Sagittarius at 22 degrees on election day. And Sagittarius, Venus in Sagittarius favors an outsider to win. Within 4 degrees of that galactic center, Venus in Sagittarius, Venus will conjunct that galactic center just around the time of election when votes are being counted. And Venus is conjunct Marianne's descendant of 23 degrees of Sagittarius. So within 1 degree conjunction, that's very strong, giving Marianne Williamson these supernatural powers. She's like a magnet suddenly for votes. I predict she will get a lot of votes, but they're coming in at the very tail end. Suddenly the votes could be pouring in last minute for a last minute upset just before the sun sets. The descendant in an astrology chart is kind of like the sunset of your birthday, whereas the ascendant is the rising sign. That's where the sun was rising on the day that you were born. The descendant is where the sun was going down. So the descendant is crossing that 6th house of how you serve your world, how you serve your community, the work you do on the day-to-day, and the 7th house of relationships, love, and partnership. And Venus will be rising as morning star, where she is in all of her divine feminine power and glory on the election day, coming in so strong at that 22 degrees of Sagittarius. I picture Venus riding a horse like a centaur, just riding in it on election day as Venus crosses over Marianne's descendant. While the votes are literally being counted, this is meaningful. This says it ain't over till it's over, just like Lenny Kravitz sings. I have that song in my head now. And this could be the song Marianne Williamson needs to sing all day on election day. It ain't over till it's over. It could be really late in the game that it's discovered Marianne Williamson got more votes than we all could have believed. So do not concede early, Marianne. Just keep singing, it ain't over till it's over, and put that one, in your ear pods that day. And let's check out the Sabian symbol for that 22 degrees of Sagittarius, where that symbol that was intuited by Elsie Wheeler, and I find these in Dane Rudyard's book. For this degree, I find it kind of fitting in a strange way. 22 degrees of Sagittarius is a Chinese laundry. And the keynote is making use of one's special racial, cultural background in order to survive and prosper in an alien environment. And there are many life situations where one's ancestral or personal background or special interests makes an individual find themselves separated from the people they will have to work and live with in the future. Yet they often can use their background as a valuable foundation for a smooth operation and acceptance by this alien environment without losing their own natural character or ways of being. There is no longer a need to initiate the ways of a superior group, but instead maintain one's own integrity within this new situation. What is asked for is self-containment and some good humor. Wow, this almost sounds like the Sabian symbol says there is a transition into an alien environment, a new situation. Could she be going to the White House? The Sabian symbols are so cryptic. But I will write the Sabian symbol down below if you want to read it for yourself and see what meaning you get, and then share your meaning in the comments. I'd love to know what you think that Chinese laundry means. When I think of Chinese laundry, I think of it as a place where women worked when they were cast out of our civilization because of racial discrimination. A lot of Chinese immigrants. I'm from the Bay Area in California, and my great-grandmother used to live in Oakland, California, where lots of Asian Chinese immigrants were cast out into working at these Chinese laundries or becoming tailors, sewing clothes, because they weren't able to rise up to higher positions. And Marianne has this cast out nature about her election that is happening to her during her campaign, but maybe it's all just preparing her for this alien environment of the White House that she might find herself in. I don't know. But I totally digressed from what I was saying about how no one is taking her seriously in the media. Really, who cares? Because we have this workers' rebellion, this workers' revolution where people come out in force to vote for Marianne Williamson, and it may just surprise and delight the world when people come out. This will not be televised. The revolution will not be televised, I tell you. And the media is missing the moment entirely because the news, honestly, is lame. And the only interview I have ever seen with Marianne Williamson that I really enjoyed was Trevor Noah. I love Trevor Noah so much. He's so real. He's the most enlightened man we've ever had on TV, and I miss him so much. I will link his interview with Marianne Williamson down below so you can see it yourself. It's on YouTube. If you're curious about what Marianne Williamson stands for, Trevor Noah was the first journalist to really allow her to express herself freely. And Trevor, please come back. Baby, come back. We need you in this election year. I miss The Daily Show with Trevor Noah so much. I really need him here right now to help me through. It's the only way I get my news was Trevor Noah and The Daily Show, and I'm a little lost without him. But most of what you find online about Marianne Williamson is completely toxic. She is haunted by old staffers who have called her a bitch. I'm spelling it for the kids that may be watching. And I like how she accepted this criticism and turned it on her head to call herself the bee of God. And honestly, it's the bitchs that get things done in our world. So I'm not scared of that if she has a little bit of that. That's really common. I'm a 3 wood star. We get accused of that all the time. Or maybe she's just bad at hiring people. Maybe she's just hired the wrong people, and I have compassion and understanding of that too. I've done that myself. There's a lot of bad staff in the world, so I don't believe the negative rap she gets. I think it's all just a conspiracy against her. And how dare she become an empowered woman who wants to serve to change our world for the better. We must keep her down. What is so deeply wrong with our world right now that we have to keep these powerful women like Marianne Williamson and Nikki Haley down while someone like Trump can rise to power? And then we have these incredibly smart and capable women who just get kept down for bringing up real issues and real solutions to the table. And Marianne Williamson recently said, you don't even know what misogyny is until you've been a woman running for president. And I believe that. Our country needs some deep healing and massive change. We need to awaken quick. And 2024 is the year of the Great Awakening, ushered in by that Pluto in Aquarius, as the divine feminine power is rising on our planet. So many goddess planets coming in strong this year. I've been covering these in my monthly moon readings. If you haven't watched them, you can go back and find out more. And this is all bringing a shift that will wake us up, and it brings in this female leadership. This is happening. Pluto in Aquarius says the future is female. And will it be Marianne Williamson or will it be Nikki Haley? We'll have to wait and see, but I really do believe we're going to have a woman president. And voting for Marianne Williamson reminds me of a cautionary tale of Ralph Nader in 2000. I was getting ready to vote for Ralph Nader. I really wanted Ralph Nader to win. I had donated to his campaign. I put posters everywhere and signs in my yard. I convinced people I know that they needed to vote for Ralph Nader, who was representing the Green Party in 2000. I was all in for Ralph Nader. He represented the people just like Marianne, and he would have made environmental choices that could have really set us on a better trajectory that would have been a game changer for our planet. And he was also running for consumer protections, something we do not have today. And he would have made such a big difference. I really loved Ralph Nader, and he was in a tight race he wasn't in a tight race, but it was a tight race between Al Gore and George Bush. Al Gore, Democrat, George Bush, Republican. And when I got into that voting booth back in the day, when you'd put your little curtain all around you, I just panicked. I couldn't vote for Ralph Nader. I was like, oh no, Al Gore needs to win. We need this. And so I didn't vote for this person who I had believed in and wanted to be president the whole time. And what if voters could actually choose for who they really wanted to vote for instead of always having to vote for the lesser of two evils? And that's how I feel this year. I'm not really thrilled with anyone, and I'm just going to have to vote for the lesser of evil. And I sometimes think, I wish I would have just voted for Ralph Nader, because Al Gore didn't get it anyways, and the whole thing was so corrupt. And will a vote for Marianne Williamson, will it really be a vote for Trump or Nikki Haley? I don't know. It feels like a totally different time that we're in now, that anything is possible this election. So I hope you won't make the mistake that I made in 2000. I hope you will vote from your heart for whoever you believe in, and don't give in to fear, because if everybody who wanted to vote for Ralph Nader wouldn't have given in to fear, if we all would have just voted for Ralph Nader, who knows what the outcome could have been. And if enough progressives truly came out in a fearless way and just cast their vote for Marianne Williamson, she could surprise Uranus, take the whole thing. And she does have that Uranus planet of surprise, conjunct Venus and Sun. After all, anything could happen for Marianne Williamson. So I just urge you, when you vote, whoever you vote for, do it out of love. Don't do it out of fear. Don't let fear come in. I mean, this year, I'm just going to vote for who I want to vote for in the moment, and I'm not going to be given into fear, and I'm not going to worry about the lesser of two evils. I'm just going to vote with my heart this year. And Marianne Williamson was born with some lucky aspects, like that Sun sextile Jupiter, a lucky transit that she always carries in her back pocket wherever she goes. Things are always working in her favor. She does get lucky, and she has some great Jupiter transits coming in during this election year of 2024. As good as it gets, she has Jupiter sextile her midheaven. And this is lighting up her higher purpose and giving her the power to expand her energy for whatever she wants to do in the world, and putting her message out into the world in an expanded way. And she is being seen and heard on social media and YouTube. Maybe not mainstream news, but honestly, there is a sea change happening in our world where people aren't watching their TV as much as they're watching YouTube and social media. I mean, everybody's scrolling their phones more than they're watching TV. So she's showing up strong where it matters. And I spend far more time getting my information from YouTube and social media. Let me know if you do too. Tell me in the comments. But that transiting Jupiter in Taurus, the king who grants wishes, is conjunct her natal Jupiter in Taurus. And I've been talking about how lucky it is to have Jupiter in Taurus, and the king who is listening to her desires, the king who wants to grant her wishes and fulfill her, whatever her wishes is Jupiter's command, as her Taurus in 15 degrees in the 11th house of friends and allies who can support and help you is in exact conjunction with Jupiter. And Marianne Williamson with this Jupiter in Taurus, conjunct Jupiter in Taurus, going before the king who grants wishes, Jupiter, the king who grants wishes. It reminds me of Saint Brigid and her magic cloak, if you know this story, where Saint Brigid asks the king if she can have a land to build her monastery. This is her dream, her divine spiritual purpose in life, to have this monastery in Kildare, Ireland. And the king says no. But St. Brigid did not give up. She comes back and tries again. She persisted, just as Marianne Williamson has continued to persist in her goal of becoming president of the United States. And so St. Brigid comes back to see the king, this time wearing a magical cloak. And she is adorned by 4 beautiful friends, supporters, women who are supporting her purpose. And she asks the king if she can have just enough land that would cover the cloak that she is wearing. And the king laughs and just thinks she's crazy. And he says, sure, I could give you that much land. And then her 4 friends take each corner of the cloak and they begin to walk in the 4 directions, east, south, west, and north. They continue walking in these 4 opposite directions until the cloak has covered acres and acres of land, more than enough land to build her dream monastery in Kildare, Ireland. And at first the king feels tricked, but he cannot deny that what she has performed before him is a pure miracle. And he is astonished by this miracle, and he ends up supporting her monastery above and beyond just giving her the land. He also financially supports it, and the king even becomes a follower of her spiritual traditions because he believes in her so much after she performs this miracle of all miracles. And this story reminds me of Marianne Williamson this year in 2024, where she can perform miracles if she persists, if she asks, believes, and receives. When she asks, believes, and receives with the powerful Jupiter in Taurus, sign of resources at 15 degrees in her 11th house of friends and allies, people, women especially, there to support her, she could easily have those 4 female helpers supporting her in her miracle as well. And she's gaining more support here in the 11th house. And now I just want to read the Sabian symbol for that 15 degrees of Taurus, where transiting Jupiter will conjunct her natal Jupiter this year. Jupiter in Taurus, magical. And this is happening around between April and May. We get these one-day transits, but they really affect us for the whole year. She'll be under this influence much longer than the one day it hits. And the Sabian symbol for 15 degrees of Taurus is an Indian weaving a ceremonial blanket. And the keynote is projecting into everyday living the realization of wholeness and fulfillment of desire. In Christian tradition, Jesus had a seamless robe. In Asia, there's a spiritual vesture of the perfect one. And one who has attained a spiritual state is figuratively robed in the universe, in the Milky Way, in a great white robe of stars, interwoven stars. This is the ultimate kind of weaving, the mind of the American woman, in which the symbols took concrete form, could bring to mind Indian women weavers, and every individual may be confronted with the potentiality of a fulfilling act of self-realization, to find themselves clothed in light for just an instant. And this brings to mind that the fulfillment of desire is a true possibility. The fulfillment of desire. St. Brigid didn't give up when the king said no. She went back. She figured out how to fulfill her desire. Marianne Williamson has these wonderful opportunities to fulfill her truest, deepest desire in 2024. There's a new hope, a new faith that is just beginning in this new cycle of growth that she will be embarking on in 2024. We haven't seen anything yet. I tell you, she is really stepping into her power in an even bigger way. When Jupiter conjuncts Jupiter, finally she will make the progress that she's been after for so long. And I picture her just grabbing that brass ring. You know, you keep going around in the carousel trying to grab the brass ring and trying, does anybody ever get that brass ring? But this is the moment when Marianne Williamson reaches out for that brass ring and actually grabs it, actually gets it. And there could be financial windfalls here, massive donations pouring in for her campaign. Incredible wealth and luck is available to her now with this Jupiter conjunct Jupiter in Taurus, the sign of resources and financial wealth. And she has luck on her side with this influence. She has incredible synchronicity now. She's in the right place at the right time for things to come to her, to get to her to the next level. I really do believe this. She's been working so hard, but now she can just allow the good things to come. Just allow things to fall into place and get into that receiving mode, because if she can just stay in a state of believing it, she will receive it, whatever it is she desires. And I always think of Jupiter as Santa Claus. You really have to believe in Jupiter like you believe in Santa Claus to receive the gifts when you have a transit like this powerful Jupiter conjunct Jupiter. And Jupiter rules over wealth and luck, but most importantly, Jupiter rules over hope and faith. You got to have faith. You got to ask, believe, and receive. The believe is a really important part of the manifestation equation. So this is a time for Marianne to do her manifestation magic like she's done so well in the past. She's got to reach out consciously and unconsciously to ask more of her higher powers to create miracles. And she has given so much to her campaign. She deserves to receive all that energy back now. And then she also has a powerful Saturn conjunct her midheaven. Saturn, who is the teacher, the spiritual guide, who really rules over our destiny, our fate, our karma. And Saturn conjunct midheaven is like climbing the mountain, finding your fate, finding your destiny. She has been preparing her whole life for this moment to step into her power, to really shine, to serve. And she's ready to do what needs to be done to make an impact, whether she wins or not. she will have disrupted the system. She's already making an impact. She's already doing so much for our world. And Saturn rules her Capricorn moon, remember? So it's as if she's been climbing a mountain her whole life, and she's just about to summit, to get to the most divine personal power. And she may reach her greatest goals in 2024, and she will have an impact on our world. No matter what happens, if she wins or loses, she's still made a powerful impact. And she also has Saturn trine Mars in 2024, and this gives her the strength, motivation, and ambition to just keep going despite any setbacks. She's got so much powerful Mars energy coming in strong. And Marianne also has Chiron in Capricorn in her 7th house of relationships, and the Sun and Pluto both crossed over her Chiron on their way to Pluto and Aquarius. And next, Mercury and Mars will be also lighting up her Chiron in Capricorn, and that is just lighting up her wounds around receiving recognition. Has she received enough recognition for all the hard work she has put in and all the efforting she has done? And it might have this sensation of feeling disappointed that she was not picked up by the media more, especially in New Hampshire. But I hope she just keeps plugging away, knowing that she is gaining momentum in alternative communities at least. But this is the wound that she may have to nurse a little bit, this feeling that she's not getting recognized for the good work that she's doing and how hard she's working. And I'm hearing from some of my clients that this might be the first election that they just don't vote because they're so disappointed with the options of Trump and Biden. And a lot of people feel like those are their only options. Oh, I don't want Trump and I don't want Biden. But there are other options. And so I encourage you, if you were thinking about skipping the vote, you can vote for a woman. Why not? Why not just throw your vote away on a woman, right? And maybe we'll just actually get it. So if we have a lot of people who don't vote, and then there's like a sea change of young voters coming out and really voting for Marianne Williamson, I mean, I hope she doesn't give up, because we could have an exceptionally small turnout for the 2024 election. And she is appealing to more people than she may know. And she may finally get the recognition that she deserves with a massive turnout on election day, because the news gets it all wrong sometimes, as we have seen in the past. And she also has another Chiron. I love Chiron. Chiron in Aries, wounded warrior healer, is squaring her sun. And if you've listened to my channel for a long time, you know squares are those diamond making pressure, struggle, challenges. The struggle is real, Marianne. We get it. It's been a hard year. And now your wounds are coming up of not being recognized, of not getting the fame and the recognition that you deserve, or even enough. I can't believe her YouTube channel doesn't have more views. You know, she's Marianne Williamson, for God's sakes. But use your wounds as your superpower. And this is like that vulnerable post that goes viral. I don't like doing vulnerable posts myself. I'm a Scorpio. I don't want to look vulnerable. But if she can use her vulnerability, if she can use her deepest wounds that may cause some struggle, but if she can shine a light on how she's feeling and her deepest wounds, and then just share it with the world in a really vulnerable way, she may feel exposed in a way that she's not comfortable with. But this might even just be the debates that are coming, because this Chiron square sun, it's a long-lasting transit that will continue for a lot of 2024. And I know she probably has PTSD from the last debates where they didn't take her seriously. She didn't get the recognition for being one of the best speaking candidates that we had, she was really making the most sense, but they were giving her the least amount of time. So just keep healing your way through, Marianne Williamson. And usually these squares, these challenges, these obstacles, I always think of squares, I think of Ganesh. You know, you can pray to Ganesh to overcome these obstacles, but you have these challenges and eventually they bring a gift. So let your wounds come up to become your superpower and use it as a gift to increase your ratings in some way, because this is basically astrology. You can't have all trines and sextiles. Marianne Williamson has a lot of lucky transits for 2024, but we all face our squares, and she's just got that one little Chiron square sun. That's her biggest obstacle, is her own personal healing and using her healing as a superpower, which if anyone could do that, Marianne Williamson can. And Marianne hasn't had an easy time, just like Nikki Haley hasn't either. This is what we do to women. We oppress them. But I believe that Marianne Williamson does have a higher power and a faith in her corner for this election. As crazy as it might sound to some, I will not count her out, because she is a contender and she could take it just as well as anyone else could. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.